And that was our Super Bowl. All right, and welcome back into Phins Football Podcast. This is B Trill, and yeah, that was our Super Bowl. It is now Monday morning, Overreaction Monday. Of course, not a Victory Monday. Honestly, I'll be completely honest. I thought we were going to get blown out by 30. I thought it was just going to be a terrible loss. I thought we weren't going to be winning majority of the game and hold up to what we did. Miami played their heart out. It was close. It was a very close game, a lot closer than a lot expected. As I mentioned on the preview, that the prediction was for, let's just say the spread was a -6. So it wasn't a huge spread. I thought the spread would be bigger, especially with, the history and the recent history that Miami has had against Buffalo. Of course, it was a great game. I will say that. First off, these two guys behind me, they played their asses off. They didn't show any signs of stopping. They showed that they gave it their all out on the field. I guess before I jump into everything, let me just say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. And go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Let's get a like on this very depressing video. I won't make it that depressing. I'm not going to overreact like most will. But go ahead and let me get a subscription. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, very sorry that you're stopping in on such a low point, but it's the Miami Dolphins. That's how the season has been. So it hasn't really been too much of a high point this season. As I'll put it, that was our Super Bowl. That would have kind of kept us on track, maybe to possibly squeak into the playoffs. But, yeah, let's just, first thing I'm going to do is dive into stats. I did go over, I have a bunch of game notes. I'm kind of just going to go through them quickly and then kind of stop on some of the big game notes that I had. But first, I want to go through stats. Of course, it was ugly. It was not a good game for Miami. So, of course, Miami lost visiting in Buffalo Sunday at 1 p.m. We went ahead and took the L, 27-30. At this point, we're used to it. So that marks 14 of 15 that Miami has now lost to the Buffalo Bills. 9 straight in Buffalo. 9 straight losses against a division rival at their stadium. 14 out of 15. It's terrible. Again, I keep saying this. I am an hour from Buffalo. I live in Rochester, New York. I'm surrounded by these Bills fans. If you haven't taken a look at my Week 2 preview in a while, actually I did get some friction, some traffic. I did have a Bills fan, a Mafia mom, reach out to me, which I enjoy the conversation. I always enjoy a sports battle, a conversation of stats and going back and forth. So I appreciate it. She was right. I'll admit I was wrong. She called me out. Tyreek Hill is not a Buffalo Bill killer. When I said that, I was more or less referring to how he has dominated them in the previous playoff games and ended their season when he was on the Chiefs. Of course, since he's been on Miami, he hasn't done too much. I think yesterday he broke 80 That's usually around the average of what he does. He hasn't really had too many big games with Miami. So I'm going to go over some stats, but I do like any comments. You have questions, you want to talk stats, you want to talk football, whether you're a Dolphins fan or a rival fan. I love it. So, Mafia Mom, shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for keeping me on my toes. And always tune in and appreciate any support. So, but let's dive into some stats. I thought I had it prompted up, but of course, we have to refresh everything. So let's go to some stats. So, box score. I got to say it, man. Tua played almost a perfect game. So I'll go over a lot of what happened, but he was almost perfect. So on his very first drive, he had an incompletion, and then his other two incompletions were throwaways. Tua ended the day with a QB rating of 124.9. He was 25 of 28. And he went for 231, which I think with the stats, I know Jalen Waddle last play of the game got that negative loss of, that loss of 23 yards. So that kind of hurt his stats. But Tua, 25 of 28, 235, and 2 touchdowns. He only gave up one sack. One sack. And that one sack, I don't think I will give it to the offensive line. That's the ball that Tua dropped. So I'm not sure if everyone saw the comments early on in the week where he was saying, anybody, it looks easy when you're sitting on your couch eating a bag of chips. I didn't like Tua's comment saying that, but karma bit him in the ass. He actually dropped that snap. So Tua, focus on what you can control, please. I like salty Tua, but that was unnecessary. Don't yell at the fans for something that we witnessed of you dropping a ball that caused a safety. Yesterday, luckily, it wasn't that bad. You dropped the ball and it caused a sack. So that was the only sack. And again, I wouldn't give it to the offensive line. Maybe Brewer snapped it too hard to his hands. I don't know. But again, Tua, he did say he's got the shortstop hands. He was the cause of that missed snap. But running, we had Devon Achane. He had 12 carries, 63 yards, 5.3 average, and of course that touchdown. Mostert had 10 rushes, 56 yards, 5.6 average. Jalen Wright, only 6 carries, but only 8 yards and only 3 yards a carry. So that was his worst game so far as a rookie. His longest run was only 7 yards. So that means that he had 5 others for 11. Not too good. Malik Washington, he had that one rush for 9 yards. It looked good. He's quick, explosive, small guy. So get him the ball more. Let's see what he can do. Tua, he had 2 runs, 3 yards, 1.5 average, 4-yard run. That 4-yard run where he ran up the gut and dove head first, didn't slide for the first down. We needed it. It was 4th down. I'll go over it, but Tua, you scared me. Please don't go ahead first ever again in your entire career. Last week when you slid, we all gave you applause. That means keep doing that. Keep sliding. Don't ever go head first. Yeah, you had to get the first down, but man, was that close. Man, was that close. Receiving. Tyreek had 4 catches, only 4 for 80 yards. That one big 28-yard receiving catch. 28 yards. It could have been a huge touchdown. If you saw, Tua kind of read it as if he was going to do a stop and go, but he actually had his man beat. So that could have been a deep touchdown. He could have got over 100 yards, but only 4 for 80, so no, he is not a Bills killer. Thank you, Mafia Mom. Devon Achane had the most catches on our team. 8 catches, 58 yards, 7.3 average. That one touchdown, 18 yards. He had 8 targets. So Jonnu, 6 targets, 5 catches, 46 yards, 9.2 on the average. So again, I keep saying Jonnu Smith is going to be a huge piece of our offense. He needs to keep it going. I like it. Mostert, he had 2 catches, 32 yards, 16 average, 17 long. And next we have OBJ. He actually had 3 catches on 3 targets, 15 yards, 5 average, 6 was his long. Got him involved. He actually exists. He has a stat as a Miami Dolphin besides stepping on the field. So wish you had a little bit more out of him, but hey, let's ease him in. Who knows what happens? I'll talk about the rest of the season. Durham Smythe, 1 catch, 4 yards. Jalen Waddle, 2 catches, negative 4 yards. Of course, he had that 12-yard 12-yard touchdown, which was needed at the end of the game to tie it. But of course, we couldn't pull out the win. Jalen Waddle only had 2 catches all game. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And of course, they gave him that negative yardage at the end of the game, which we didn't like. But as far as defensive stats, I think we only had that 1 sack. Chop Robinson got his first career sack. So big, big game. And it looks like our only interception, of course, Jalen Ramsey. That was a beautiful interception. Could have been caught for a touchdown by Coleman, but of course that was tipped up. As far as everything else, looks like Sanders 2 for 2 on the field goal. Not much else to write home about. D. Eskridge did have that 33-yard kickoff return, so that was nice. But I'm going to jump into some of my game notes. So again, as that game goes on, I kind of just talk about what happened. So Miami started off the game great. We started off with a 3-and-out. We stopped Buffalo and had a 3-and-out. Great way to start the game. Then we started to drive down the field. What happened? Achane for the first down. Then Hill for 6 yards on his first catch. Then we had that bad snap. So again, it was our only sack, but Tua, you got to catch those. Then we go to OBJ, which was great. So we're moving the ball, looking good. On third down, Jonnu Smith actually was wide open on that drag route, but it was our first and only true incompletion on the day. It was kind of dropped by Tyreek. There was a lot of hands, a lot of motion in there, but he swatted and swiped, but it looks like Tyreek Hill dropped the ball. Tua put it right in there. So again, think about that. His only incompletion, true incompletion that was not a throwaway, was right in his breadbasket. Tua should have been pitching a perfect game. Think about that. His second game back after missing over a month. I miss Tua. I like Tua. I think he's the truth. On that first punt, the coverage was terrible. It was a bouncing ball picked up and then ran for, what was it, like 30 yards? It was terrible. We need to have better special team coverage. On defense, it was 3rd and 5, and we went with the zone coverage and gave up an easy completion to Shakir. It seems like every time we run zone and not man, we're giving up big plays. We need to do something with that zone. Would have held them to a field goal, but of course, that's when they started driving down the field. Agba had a huge tackle for loss. He got to Josh Allen just in time on 3rd down, and then we got the ball back. So, great 3rd down dump off to Mostert. Mostert showed his speed and toughness for the 1st down, and that penalty should have been it should have been a penalty on Mostert, but we got lucky. So also, I didn't like that 3rd down call. What was it in the first that led to the first points? But it was a great kick by Sanders. Looks like on defense, Jordan Brooks, he got cleared out on one play, straight across the field when Cook had that long run in the beginning of the second quarter. Brooks got manhandled. Pull up that replay. It didn't look good at all. But then the very next play, Ramsey got that interception again. Huge concentration by Ramsey, but doesn't look like Coleman had that concentration. Mostert had some big runs. So we had a 14-yard run, then from our own 3-yard line. That was beautiful. Gave us space, started that drive. That was a very big drive. Then he had a 12-yard run, and then it was a great block by the rookie. Tua, he had that no-look shovel pass, man. It went right to the tight end, looking like Patrick Mahomes going to Kelsey, but it went to Smith for 10 yards. Great play. Achane, he had a great pickup for the first down. He was moving the ball, lowering his shoulder and breaking tackles. We were moving the rock. OBJ and then Achane dump off for the first. Malik had that huge run. The camera was a little shifty on that. I was kind of lost. Ingold had a huge block, made some big lanes for Achane on that run. 3 more runs on that drive to begin the half. We had a great touchdown on Achane with a little dump off. We went up 10-3 on a 97-yard drive. That was our longest drive since week 1 of 2018. Wow, 97-yard drive. Right there, I'm like, we got a chance to win this game. Let's go ahead and beat Buffalo. Miracles can happen. Yeah. After that, there was a huge run by Allen and then a holding call that called it back. Luckily, that held them to 1st and 30, held them to a field goal at the end of half, being 10-3. Mostert then had a great run, but that was that punch out. He needs to hold on to the ball. We are leading the league in fumbles. We have 7 fumbles. Only lost 3, but we have 7 fumbles. Our defense, we're playing pretty good. We were doing that bend, don't break defense until it was 4th and goal. Fuller had to fight through the traffic when he was doing that crossing routes, and then there was no safety covering over the top. And that left Holland wide open in the end zone. So that was not good. There should have been a Tyreek Hill touchdown. That bomb deep. That was where Tyreek kind of came back. I didn't mention that. There was a terrible tackle attempt by Marcus May and a terrible angle by Brooks on that big Ray Davis touchdown and Brooks should have been covering and blown the coverage. 2-point conversion by zone defense from Neal. Miami is now losing 13-20 with 2 minutes to go in the third. That was a huge swinging point. That Ray Davis run, it was a tie game before that, and then after that it was just terrible. After that, Jalen Wright finally came in at the end of the third and had 2 good runs. Tyreek Hill then had that 27-yard catch that should have been a touchdown. Tua ran on 4th and 4 and dives head first. Scary play. Achane had that big tie with 12 minutes left in the game. I thought we had it. It was great blocking by Jonnu Smith. Neal with the dumb penalty in the red zone. That was a hold on secure. Marcus May, he was more worried about contain than instead of getting the sack, which gave up that touchdown to put them up 27-20 in the end of the game. Tua had to come through, go to Waddle. That was beautiful. But Chop had his first sack in the last 2 minutes of the game. Honestly, it was all Poyer. Let's spend the last minute talking about Poyer. Poyer, you ruined this game, man. That helmet-to-helmet hit, it was a drop ball. He led with his helmet. If he actually played a shoulder pad to, the ribs, we would have won that game. He never should have caught that ball. Never should have been a penalty. Never should have been helmet-to-helmet. It shouldn't have been a 61-yard field goal. Why didn't we ice the kicker? Why did we not call a timeout? There's nobody back just in case he missed it. There's just a lot of things going wrong on that play. I'm on my lunch break. I'm running out of time. depressing, heartbreaking loss. I kind of wish we got blown out by 30. But I'll recap more later on this week, give you a preview, and thank you for tuning in. Until next time, fins up, family. Keep liking and subscribing.